Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome to my first Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds episode review. Every Saturday on the channel I will be reviewing a Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds episode. Thursdays will be Duel Monsters, Friday GX, and Sundays tomorrow Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. So if you're interested in any of those shows, definitely keep coming back every weekend to the channel to check out my reviews of the older Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows subbed, which will be a new experience for me since I haven't seen most of these shows, at least in the very beginning of them, subbed in the Japanese version. If you want to watch along with me, I will be linking the episode down below in the description, so very easy to watch along, and hopefully some of you will be joining me and a bunch of others for the journey. But anyway, we are going to start with 5Ds episode 1, and what did I think about the very first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds? I enjoyed it. It was they didn't really introduce many characters, probably the least amount of characters a Yu-Gi-Oh! Has introduced in the very first episode, but what they did is they really hyped up the rivalry between Yusei, our main character, and Jack, who is our main rival. In fact, the parallels of both of them in the very beginning of this episode I thought were wonderfully done. You have Jack riding as the Duel King in the big stadium, and you have Yusei riding also in a very rundown, looking like an underground sewer subway part of a city, and you can just see the parallels between these two. Jack being praised and cheered on by thousands and thousands, and Yusei riding just like Jack is in a very dark, isolated, lonely tunnel. And I thought the parallels there were great. In fact, when Jack beats Makura Enjo, otherwise known as Hunter Pace in the English dub, Hunter's bike, or Enjo's D-wheel, completely fries. And Yusei's D-wheel completely fries as well once Jack delivers that final blow. So again, it's almost as if Yusei felt the pain that Makuro Enjo felt of losing his D-wheel, of losing his almost sense of self and his persons when Jack delivered the final attack. And we learn in this episode as well that Jack stole Yusei's D-wheel, he stole Yusei's ace card, and many people, Yusei doesn't really comment on Jack until the very end of the episode, but his crew, the only one that was named was Rally, the kid with the mark that stole. I've never known if Rally is a guy or a girl, honestly. Let me actually look up. Okay, so Wikipedia says, I always thought Rally was a girl, but according to Wikipedia, Rally is a boy. That makes sense. It's sometimes hard to tell. So Rally stole a chip, and that's the only one of this crew that was announced by name, but this whole group has extreme dissonance towards Jack Atlas, towards the Duel King. They all feel that Yusei should be the Duel King, and Yusei doesn't really give a lot of back and forth. He doesn't say like, yeah, I know, it should be me. Doesn't say anything about Jack, just stays silent and stays focused on his task at hand, which is fixing his D-wheel. We also see how skilled Yusei is, not only with repairing his D-wheel and how he has those kind of, mechanical skills, but that he also has very high level of technical and hacking skills. Right? He jams the sector security when they're raining down on Rally, and they're raining. By the way, the city is absolutely horrible. I thought New Jersey had really bad potholes. These roads, literally their potholes are cracks that you can fall through if you're driving on the roads. A satellite, which is what they refer to it, is a terrible place to live. They really, I thought, did a great job of highlighting how unlivable the city is, and I'm sure we will see more of how bad this city is going forward. But Sector Security is able to see underground because of a huge crack in the road, and they're able to follow Rally because Rally has a mark on his face that is basically a tracking device, which is kind of terrifying. And they know Rally stole this chip that Yusei uses to repair his D-wheel. Yusei jams the sector security signal, tells his friends, go hide, go run, I'll distract them, literally rides his D-wheel right upstairs, attracts the police, drives the police away. So very selfless from Yusei, lets his friends get away, and now it's him and Yugioh, a man that we are all very familiar with if you've seen the very first two Yu-Gi-Ohs. This is Tetsu Trudge. This is a character that was mind-crushed by Yugi in the very first episode of Season 0. At least I believe it was the first episode, but he got mind-crushed after losing a game. Think about how awesome. This guy doesn't even know it. He's a very bitter human being, Yugioh, but think about how lucky he is. First off, to get mind-crushed by Yugi. Now, no, that's not, I'm sure he didn't feel great after it happened, but just take a step back and think about it. He got mind-crushed by Yugimoto, and now he gets to duel Yusei Fudo. I mean, how awesome is that? I know from his perspective he could care less. I mean, this is the universe he's in. But when you take a step back and think about all the interactions Yugioh has had with the prolific characters in this Yu-Gi-Oh universe, it's pretty awesome. You can't think of many characters that have had more interactions and more communications with high-level, high-profile characters than Tetsu Trudge, than Yugioh. So I thought that was awesome. But Yugioh says, I want to duel Yusei. Yes, we can arrest him. Actually, he doesn't even get Yusei's name. I want to duel this guy. And Yusei, I like his line. He's like, I don't really trust security, but I do trust duelists. And you're kind of different. So I thought that was kind of cool. And Yugioh was an absolute dick in this episode. And what I did love is he used Montage Dragon, which is a monster where you get rid of cards from your hand, and based on their levels, you multiply 3 cards, and you multiply their level by 300. So he got rid of a 3, 3, and 4. So 10 times 300, Montage Dragon had 3,000 attack points. When I played Millennium Duels on the PlayStation 3, this was my ace monster. Literally, I would stack my deck with level 7. My deck was awful. God, I would love to go back and look at it. I would have level 6, 7, 8 monsters just so that when I got Montage Dragon, I would literally be able to get 6,000 attack points on it, because I'd get rid of 2 level 8 monsters and a level 4 monster from my hand, which is 20 levels, 20 times 300. Montage Dragon would have 6,000 attack points, and I always thought that was the coolest thing ever. But now knowing what I know, that monster is not really that good, because it's got no protection. You have to get rid of 3 cards from your hand just to summon it, and if it gets destroyed, your hand is pretty much gone. So, it's not it's not the best monster. But back in my ignorant Yu-Gi-Oh playing days, it's always fun to just play Yu-Gi-Oh for fun, back on the PlayStation 3, I used to love using that monster. So I love the fact that this monster is actually used in the anime and used by Yugioh. It does have a special place in my heart. And Yusei's able to get over it by using a combination that would be completely useless in any other situation. It literally changes and a card that's equipped to your monster. The card gets equipped to the opponent's monster, and then those monsters battle. So because of that, I believe it was Handcuff Dragon, or a handcuff card. I think it was Handcuff Dragon. Yusei's Junk Warrior lost 1,800 attack points. This card was able to switch that to Montage Dragon, so Montage Dragon lost 1,800 attack points. Junk Warrior and Montage Dragon did battle, and because of that ridiculously, very niche combo, Yusei is able to get through and defeat Tetsu Trudge, leaving Yugioh in the dirt. And Yusei says something very similar, at least similar to the people who have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns. He actually says almost an exact line of what Yusaku says to one of the Knights of Hanoi, which is the first opponent that Yusaku defeats in Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns. Yusaku says, "You have no right to call yourself a duelist." Yusei says, "You have no right to call yourself a duelist if you refer to cards as garbage," which Yugioh did during the duel when Yusei was using Sonic Chick and very, weak, at least weak in terms of attack point monsters. So I thought that was so interesting that literally, and I mean, there have been a lot of Yusaku and Yusei comparisons. The only difference, I think, is Yusei has a little bit maybe more personality than Yusaku does, and so it makes sense that Yusei said a little more than just, "You have no right to call yourself a duelist," but literally, that is exactly what both of these characters say after they defeat their first opponent. So I thought that parallel was really, really awesome. And then Yusei gets back to ground level. Yugioh, very, very angry, says, "I'm gonna crush you." Never gets the name of Yusei, but Yusei gets back to ground level, gets back to street level, and he looks onto the beautiful glowing city, and he just says, "Just wait, Jack," or "I'm coming, Jack," something along those lines. And that is the first time in this episode that Yusei actually refers to Jack by name, and that very tense. The episode was very tense the whole way through. It was definitely not as lighthearted as, didn't have any lighthearted moments as the first Duel Monsters episode, as the first GX episode, even the first Zexal Arc 5, and Vrains was pretty intense the whole way through, and the Duel Monsters lightheartedness was before Kaiba went to Grandpa's card shop. It was pretty lighthearted until then, and then it got very intense. But 5Ds, there was no real comedy. It was all seriousness, really, the whole episode, and you can just tell the tone of this show is going to be very different, especially from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which is the show that had just come to an end before 5Ds aired. But overall, a really good episode, and I thought the episode, again, did a marvelous job at hyping up the rivalry between Yusei and Jack, which is going to be the core of this show, at least going forward in the near future, and I'm very excited to see both of them go at it. So anyway, episode 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, I thought, was a very good episode. It was probably the most unique and different episode of any Yu-Gi-Oh's first episode when you consider the tone and the just seriousness of it, and even the music. The music was very good, but the music was very serious and intense, and, you know, they didn't play like the Yusei's theme, which is a great theme. They didn't play that because, again, they want everything to be very serious right now to show you that this is a serious world, this is a dire world, this is a darker world and setting than GX was in, than Duel Monsters was in, Zexal Arc 5, and maybe even Vrains as well. So anyway, guys, I am going to stop myself there. I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope some of you have watched 5Ds. If this is your first time watching, maybe subbed or just in general, please let me know down below, because I'd love to hear what you guys had to think about this episode. And if it's the first time you've watched 5Ds in a while, let me know what you think about the episode, and let me know what you are looking forward to next when it comes to 5Ds. I am looking forward to next Saturday when we will go over episode 2. I'm very excited to watch it, and I'm very excited to share my thoughts with you all. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the incredible support. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.